Hello everyone, my name is Yuri Kasdorp from Mouse, and we are not week 13 yet. You're seeing this right. We are on the we are on the old oval on Monza. We're not just on the old oval, we're on Monza combined. That means that every time you start a normal lap, first you have to do a lap around this old oval. They cleared the grass for us. They haven't quite fixed the cracks, so we're gonna have to deal with those. But it's a very interesting week of GT Sprint ahead. I am quite excited myself, so let's get into the guide and see how we get around here. Alright, here we are at the start of our lap, and it is some sort of lap, that's for sure. So there's walls. That means we can't go the normal track. We are being sent back to the past. That means we're going onto the Monza oval. And this is not like the Daytona oval, this is bumpy. So just try to keep the wheel as straight as possible. All of it is easy flat, so we just want to minimize our inputs to keep the speed as high as possible. I'm not sure how this is gonna work with traffic or with other cars. I don't think you can really go too wide here. Bit lost for words, as you can tell. So yeah, quite bumpy. But here we are, onto the normal straight, just with a bit more top speed and a bit less wing than usual. So turn on your brake just when the bushes start on the left side. Got on both sides a lot. Set up for the exit. And then we have to run for second chicane. We brake just at the 100 marker there. And again, we sacrifice to the first left-hander a bit for a nice exit. Careful with the rear stepping out through Lesmo 1 and 2. This is where you'll feel it the most. Just before the 50, focus on the exit. And then we got Ascari. Ascari we can cut a lot on the left side with the Porsche. Careful with the rear. As I said, we're on the edge with the wing. And only Parabolica left. We brake just before the green ends at the left side. Then careful with the rear. And that's the lap around Monza combined. Let's have a look from the outside cam how this looks like. Alright, we are here from the outside cam. So let's have a look how we maximize the speed on the oval, I guess. I'm coming in from the left side here to just try to make it as smooth as possible. Any wheel movement, any tire friction will slow us down, and it will slow us down the whole thing. And then it's just, we have a lot of banking and keeping the wheel as straight as possible. And as you can see, there's a lot of bumps, especially in the second part of the oval. I think the Porsche should be good here because of that high top end. Porsche has the best top speed. That might not get there the quickest, but once it starts rolling, it keeps going. And this is fairly confidently the longest time you'll be flat out on any track in a long time at the very least. So now we get to the normal track, and the normal track is fairly normal. We're already normally pretty low wing around Monza, but because of this big oval now, I suspect the fastest way in every car is just to trim all the wing out, and that means that the rest of the track is a bit more tricky. Turn 1, we come with a lot of speed. So where normally I'm braking at the end of this bush, now I'm starting to brake where the bush starts on the left side here. And then we can cut the first right-hander as much that my left side tires are right on the edge of this white line. So right here, this is like as far as you can go without getting the slowdown. We try to rotate the car so that when we start turning for the left-hander here, we're not all the way on the left side. You have a bit of space to start rotating. And then this curb here, it looks like it's very high, it's going to bounce you, but it feels like it's just flat after this. The car doesn't really bounce at all over it. So you want to take this left curb, and while you're on this left curb, with steering input, we can already start building on the throttle, because somehow in iRacing physics world, when we drop off of this curb, when we're in the air, the car just grips. So you can go on throttle much earlier than you think there. Then we got to run to second chicane. Second chicane, you want to brake earlier than you probably feel like. So I'm starting to brake where this entrance road starts. Right here. And then again, you want to cut the left side a lot, that your right side is right on this white line. And the most important part about the second chicane is that we're sacrificing this left-hander to keep this right-hander not flat, but we want to go onto the throttle in between these corners. And then right when we hit the curb here, we go off the throttle a bit, and then back on the throttle when we land. If you have to lift more, then you're overshooting this left-hander. And whenever I'm driving, even in top split, except for the first maybe 4 or 5 cars, almost every single car loses the most time in this corner by going in too deep and going too slow on this second curb and on the exit. Then we get to the Lesmos. The first Lesmo braking is quite tricky, so you have to get a feeling of where to brake. If your rear is unstable here, because we're running low rear downforce, keep it a gear higher. Most cars, especially in entry, will make it a lot easier, but also on exit, they'll pull it through, and there's not a super long exit, so if you lose 1 or 2 kilometers an hour on the exit, it doesn't matter as much if you can carry more speed through the corner. And then on the exit, you want to run close to the gravel. That's where the off track is. Lesmo 2, tap the brake at the 50, but don't lose too much speed. Get the car turned in, close to the curb here on the inside, and make sure that your car is turning and rotating, so that when we get to the apex here, there's a bit of camber in the road. We want to be back on the power, and we want the car to stick. And the way we do that is to have a bit of rotation in the car, so the rear starts to step out a tiny bit when we get to this point. And back on the power. Again, the gravel on the outside is the limit here. Then we get to Ascari. Ascari is one of those corners again where it's important to carry the speed through and not into the corner. So I start to brake right where this entrance road here starts on the right hand side, and try to carry the speed through the corner and not into it. We want to end up a bit on the curb. In some cars, you can even brake a bit more from the middle here and brake onto the curb, not in a straight line, and make this one big turn. That will depend on what car you're running, what setup, etc. It is an option though. In this, I'm braking in a straight line, and in the Porsche, we can easily take this inside curb. We all still have Daytona in our memory. The Porsche just jumps over these anti-cuts, eats them for breakfast. In other cars, you'll have to be very precise to jump this curb, or just drive around the anti-cut. In all the cars where you want to take it, you want to come from the outside, miss the first one, and jump this second one. And again, the Porsche just eats these for breakfast. Even if you clip the last one, it does not matter. If you clip the last one in other cars, you will be in big trouble. Porsche doesn't matter, just make sure your right side tire is on the white line. And then keep it tight here. Make sure that you follow the inside curb. I went a tiny bit wide. I thought this would be fine, but immediately it bit me in the ass again on the exit here. You want to left side tire all the cars. You want to clip this curb. To my knowledge, all the cars can easily take this one. Jump over it. Keep the car on the road. And if you did it right, so if you followed the curb nicely on the right side here, I started tracking out, you should be able to keep this flat over this last apex without losing the rear and exit like I did here. And then we have to run up to Parabolica, or whatever the new name is. Want to brake just before the end of the green here. And what I like to do is brake quite towards the middle of the track instead of keeping it on the left side. So in a straight line, quite a lot towards the apex, and then slowly build up the throttle again. So let's have a look at Delta. So we're coming onto the brakes quite slowly because we're running very low downforce. Make sure you slow down early over the first curb here, and from this first curb, you see I'm not lifting the throttle anymore. I have this really shallow line through the second apex. Keep a lot of speed through it and over it, and this small lift on top of the curb helps the car settle when we land. So this part here, making sure you park it a bit on the first apex. Keep it tight, don't run out too wide. Have a nice cut over the first apex. Back on the power early, small lift over the curb to keep the car settled, and back on the power again. That's where you'll gain the most time in a single corner on this track. And that's just starting out another run on the oval. Not sure exactly what strategies will come to play here. I don't think we've been here yet. I assume that if you can stay behind someone on similar speed, the whole flat out part, you can save a lot of fuel and gain even a couple seconds in the pits. Alright, so an exciting week ahead. So many bumps here on the oval. I assume the Porsche will be the best here because of the top speed, but some other cars will be a bit better on the normal GP track. Strategy we'll have to figure out. I think if you can find someone to stay behind, like I said, on the oval part, you'll gain a lot. Let's see. I don't know how overtaking will work here. If you can make it 2 out without crashing, my hat's off to you, but I assume it's going to be some carnage, some chaos, especially because also we start out the first lap on the oval. Yeah. Exciting week ahead. It's not week 13. Let's see how this plays out. If you want to see more track guides like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next week for the next track guide.